taxpayer, townie, and director of Keep Metacomet Green. Mr. Cahoon, thank you very much for your advocacy of at least Section 3 B. I wonder if you are dropping your advocacy for Section 2 when you suggested that we say so as to mitigate the negative impact. Are you still suggesting that you accept that part of our proposed amendment?
I am not.
You are not.
I am ready to move forward, Ms. Seal, with the amendment that I read, Section 3.
Okay, B, the scale of development through peer review study.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much on that. I wanted to note that Mr. Connolly talked about the foresight of the creators of the 2003 Waterfront District Plan, the foresight in making all those protections that he reiterated for us. I thought that was terrific. But they also had the foresight to specifically say, as you're saying, Mr. Cahoon, that it should be redundant language as it was for the Kettle Point Subdistrict and the Veterans Memorial Parkway Subdistrict. And I thank you again for that. Mr. Brito, you talked about how would we enforce this, especially the negative impact. How do we enforce it? Well, you're not going to be in a position to enforce it because it's out of your hands after this. Mr. Connolly used the word vision twice tonight when he was before the planning board. He used the vision numerous times that the 2003 Watergate District Plan was a vision waterfront commission. It was a vision of this city council when you rezoned it. It was a vision of the Waterfront Commission to write this amendment. Now it's back to you for your vision. It's not an enforcement mechanism. It states your vision for East Providence. That's all that it is. And I thank you for your support and any other support that we get on this. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that said, I would like to propose first that we amend the proposed amendment to the resolution to ratify the Waterfront District Commission's amendment to the 2003 Waterfront District Plan, Special Development District Plan, so as to eliminate any and all references to the word hotel, except in the use table. So I'll
That's your motion?
raise that in the form of a motion, yes.
I'll second. So before you second it, I'm going to just make a brief remark about that because we all know how I stated before about a hotel on that property. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I'll only say this, and I'll be real quick about this because I think of not a motel, but something very luxurious, 3.5 star, 4-star hotel that I think will go and be an important role on that property along with the 9-hole golf course as well. Especially considering that we have Live Nation coming to the city. They're going to expand over there as opposed to people driving back and forth on that Veterans Memorial Parkway. I think this would be a great opportunity for people to stay there, do their shopping there, do their eating there, and walk back and forth as opposed to driving to and from. So I just wanted, we have a motion on the floor at this point in time. Councilman Cahoon, it was seconded by Councilman Rodrick. Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Nay. Next item, Councilman Cahoon.
So the next proposed amendment would be to include under Section 3, paragraph B, as previously read. Do I need to read it again?
No.
All three paragraphs,
Just as they appear.
just as they appear.
We have a motion on the floor for Section 3, adding the subsections B, C, and D as it appears on the form.
No, sir,
Proposed.
just B.
Just B,
Just
excuse
B,
me.
the 3 paragraphs of B,
Oh, 3, okay. Which is,
under issues.
do I have a second on that motion?
Second?
Is that a second?
Yes, second.
So we do have a second on the motion. Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Nay, and I'm going to say nay because again, as the city solicitor had alluded to early on, it's inconsistent with the use table.
So now, Mr. President, that brings us to, nope, I think I might have
Section
this.
2.
So, hang on. So, Mr. President, I move to approve the resolution accepting and ratifying the modifications of the 2003 East Providence Waterfront Special Development District Plan and amended boundaries and accepting 9.602 acres as Lot B shown herein as amended tonight.
So is this, Councilman, just for clarification, you're accepting the resolution that we currently have with the amendments?
With the amendments that we just voted on, with the 2 amendments that we just voted on tonight.
Thought this had to go back to the waterfront.
It will.
That's what this process.
Because they'll adopt the same. Does it come back to council?
So it goes to the waterfront.
I believe it'll be done, yes. That's,
Doesn't come back.
no, because we're the one who sent it back to
It
them.
have to be passed by both bodies,
So we passed
like House and Senate, pass it back, right?
I'll second that motion.
Deputy Clerk, hold on, Councilman, you have a comment?
Yeah, I do. I'm glad that these changes are going in and I know what the outcome of this resolution is going to be. And I'm just going to say that I'm going to remain consistent in my belief of, what Metacom should be or should not be, and I'll be prepared to vote accordingly.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
So now we go back in order, right? Calendar. Licenses. Those are done. Proclamation presentation done.
I'm going to go to the next item.
Appointments, I believe where we left off. Madam Clerk, I believe we left off on appointments.
Yep, there are none. The next item would be council members. First is community event, bike helmet giveaway for children, August 27th, 2022 at the American Legion, 830 Willett Avenue from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Councilman Morato, it's an announcement.
Thank you. I'll be hosting a community, a children's bike helmet giveaway on the 27th. It's going to be at the American Legion parking lot. Currently have 160 helmets to give away, free food, free Dell's lemonade. Anyone who needs a helmet, stop on by. It's going to be 11 to 1 on the 27th.
Next item, enforcement of the short-term rental and illegal motorized vehicles / mini dirt bikes. Councilman Morato and Councilwoman Souza, discussion.
I'm going to be brief. I'm just going to talk about the short-term rentals. I would like to put the dirt bikes back on the agenda for September 6th. Reason being that Councilwoman Souza also has issues with that second part of this. I just want to briefly mention that I've been in communication with Assistant Solicitor Dillon, and he's been in communications with our zoning department at Pimental. Per our last conversation here on the council, I asked that, is there anything that we can do to this ordinance? Any enforcement of, tweaking, anything? And the end result was a letter from Ed And I'll just read a couple of brief things from it, a couple of takeaways. Short-term rental ordinance empowers the city to take additional enforcement steps specific to short-term rental registration. However, again, there has not been any instances where the city has needed to take any such actions against a short-term rental operator. The letter also indicates that there has been several short-term rental operators who were not previously registered and now are due to this ordinance. And the end result of this, at this point in time, there is no need to change the ordinance. It's been a little bit of a learning curve in general, but the zoning department seems to be happy with it in its current form. That's all I have.
Next item would be public hearing. We do not have any. No continued business. Next would be new business, mayor communications. First would be the appointment not requiring council confirmation, Jeremy Spur to the Conservation Commission, term expiring on 1/1/2025. Director of Administration, Napoleon Gonzalez.
Just a couple of things on Mr. Spur's background. The 7-year resident of Riverside, involved in some volunteering landscape planting projects. John Street, Taunton Avenue, and also the Riverside Renaissance on Forbes Street. Majored in environmental studies from Dartmouth College as well. Mr. Spur's here if you'd like to hear more from him.
And here, you like to what?
Mr. Spur's here if you wanted more background on him as well.
Well, good choice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next would be items for discussion, July 2022 general fund expenses and capital expenses, Director of Finance, Malcolm Moore.
Good evening. Go through this each month. Not much has happened since last month. If you have any questions, you can either ask me or email me. And I can back. We've been busy really with the budget, so if you have any questions, I wouldn't be able to answer. I didn't.
Oh, I have no questions, Malcolm, and I appreciate this report. I think it's very detailed. I think it gives us all the information we need. Much appreciated.
Next item, senior center improvements. Improvements to the senior center grounds, landscaping and walkways have begun as of August 10th, 2022.
The rest of it,
I'm going to go keep,
read it.
you want to? It's up to you.
Carousel opening after a long and difficult stabilization project. We are happy to report that the carousel is open from residents Saturdays and Sundays, noon to 6 p.m. Tickets are $2 each. I know there are a couple of Fridays in the next couple of months are also open, so I'd suggest you check the website for that information. The Roof Arts Festival went very well this weekend. And the East Providence Neighborhood Day Coalition on Saturday, August 20th, 2022, EPHES will be hosting our 30th annual Neighborhood Day celebration at the Anna Moniz Playground, Central Avenue Park. It's a safe and fun-filled day of activities ranging from memorial walk, police and fire department demonstrations, a live DJ, field games, face painting, free back-to-school backpack giveaways, hamburgers, hot dogs, basketball tournaments, and senior citizens bingo. Last year, there were over 200 people who attended. We plan for this year to be even bigger. Next up is the city received Rhode Island Commerce Awards, excuse me. $75,000 to implement the recently completed citywide interpretive sign plan. Funding will be used to support research, writing, image acquisition, and graphic production for signage. Second, $75,000 award for the capital improvement of lighting, including the receptacles along the East Bay bike path to enable small and large events to be held in the evening hours and for portable stage, portable audio systems, and pop-up canopies. The mayor also recently signed the following grant agreements: $400,000 Kent Heights Recreational Facility, with a $100,000 match, renovations to Kent Heights Recreational Facility, including resurfacing basketball and tennis courts, repairs to existing walkways, resurfacing, grading existing multi-use athletic fields, new futsal court, accessible walking path and play equipment, landscaping benches and bike racks, grassy plains, trail park, trailhead signings. Second, East Providence project, Grassy Plains Park grant, $72,000. This project includes a new parking lot at the Grassy Plains Park trailhead, along with 1.5 miles of mixed bike hiking and hiking trails and a 1/2 mile long, fully accessible paved trail.
Gonzalez, may I stop you for 1 second, Mr. President? I just want to point out, because I don't see it in there, under the Kent Heights Recreational Facility Grant, which is great news. And I know we've had discussions, and I just want to reiterate, the neighborhood is very concerned about the drainage situation in that park. So any plan must include drainage. And I know we're all thinking that in the back of your head. I know, Dan, you and I have had several conversations. I just want that to be a focus that we maintain with whatever gets done over there. Thank you, sir.
Next would be the East Providence Project Trailhead Kiosk Grant, $11,000. This project includes installation of kiosks at Willett Pond Trail, Hunts Mills Trail, Turner Reservoir Loop Trail, and Boyden Heights Conservation Area trailheads. Next would be the East Providence Community Center. East Providence Community Center is one of 11 projects that Congressman David N. Cicilline submitted to the Appropriations Committee. Funding would be used to support the development of a community center for use by youth, families, older residents, and civic organizations. This new center would allow East Providence to offer recreational programming, job training, health monitoring services, public safety training, community meetings, and more. The center will also be utilized by the East Providence Police Department to conduct training and community police outreach programming. City residents have expressed their support for additional recreational space via the approval of 2 voter referendums to issue bonds for construction of a new recreation center. The city lacks community space. In addition, the center would be a tremendous resource. The residents could easily access key programming and services.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. A very comprehensive report there. Some good stuff going on in the city. Thank you for sharing that with us. Next item, please.
Next item, reports of other city officials, report of the city solicitor, the claims committee report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. City Council met as a Claims Committee to approve the following claims in executive session. Claim of William and Susan Dorney in the amount of $919.65. Claim of James Lombardo in the amount of $76.51. Claim of Kicha Pramat in the amount of $173.56. And the subrogation claim of the Rathbone Group not to exceed $1,585.10. That concludes my report.
Next item, resolutions for discussion and possible vote. First resolution and report of proposed legislation allowing the Brain Injury Association of Rhode Island, Inc. exemption from taxation on real and tangible property. Sponsor is Council Vice President Rodrick.
Mr. President, we had discussion of this issue at the last meeting. The Institute, which has proven to be a nonprofit, has requested a similar tax status compared to other clubs and facilities in the city. So this is coming to us tonight for final thought. I'm not going to read the entire resolution. The question was asked the last council meeting. I think Councilman Morado, you had asked what tax would be alleviated by this, and I have a copy from the city tax rolls. It would be $276.04 is the specific amount that would come off the tax roll. There's a history with the Brain Injury Association of Rhode Island, Waterman Avenue, if anyone's interested, if you need more information. But we've done this for similar organizations in the city. They've approached me, and I would support it. So I hold off on a motion in case there are other questions or comments.
I believe the question I asked was if language that it will not convey with that property if ever sold.
Oh, right. Well, we answered that at the last meeting, right? It doesn't follow through if it sells, but maybe it wasn't you. Someone wanted to know how much tax was involved, but that's correct. This only for this corporation. This doesn't follow if they sell it and it becomes a Dairy Bee or something. It's different. So I would move the resolution in support of sending the proposed legislation allowing the Brain Injury Association of Rhode Island, Inc. exemption from taxation on real and tangible property.
Before there's a second, any discussion here from the council? No discussion from the council. We have a motion on the floor. Would anyone like to second that motion?
I'll second.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Next resolution, please.
Next resolution is the resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the purchase of 2 pickup trucks for the Water Utility Division. The sponsor is Council Vice President Rodrick.
In working with department heads, in particular, Director Borges was here tonight. If he wants to add to this, he actually would be the expert on it. But this is a request for more engineering services regarding our water pollution control facility, which we've had multiple discussions on the importance of getting this done. So if Director Borges has a moment.
Yeah, I think the first item is regarding the trucks. Like, speak to that first, or,
Okay, sure.
I mean, the trucks are just to replace
Is that mic on?
existing fleet vehicles in the early 2000s that close to 20 years old, falling apart. As for the, are we, regarding Arcadis, is that,
Yes, that was more what I was talking about. I didn't get into the trucks much, but yeah, I certainly need to replace.
do you want me to hold off until? Okay.
Yep. So the trucks were how old the 20 years old, is that?
Early 2000s. One, I believe, is a 2007. The other is a 2006. We're looking to replace those with new vehicles. Those are frontline vehicles, not only for, day-to-day operations, but also very important to our snow
We need them,
activity.
essentially.
Yes, we need them.
That's funded out of the Water Enterprise Fund, not
Correct.
SIP
Yep,
cap.
those are already allocated as part of the capital improvements. Yep.
And this is the total $69,828. Or do I have the wrong?
I think it's closer to about
That was-
47,000 apiece, I believe. Around 90, yeah. I don't have the exact number off. the top of my head.
Says 94,864.26.
So that's the total, 94, okay.
Memory on this.
Good memory. So I would move that as stated.
Second.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Next resolution, please.
Yes, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the purchase of a Bobcat compact excavator for the Department of Public Works Highway Division. Sponsor is Council Vice President Rodrick.
This along the lines, again, of needed equipment. The excavator would be $69,828. It would be budgeted, has been budgeted under the capital budget as part of DPW replacement program. And I'm sure is much needed.
Form that into a motion.
I would make that a formal motion for approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato. Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Next resolution, please.
Next resolution, we already approved the hazard mitigation, so we're going to move to number 5, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract amendment with Arcadis US Inc. for engineering services related to water pollution control facility concrete restoration and lining project. The sponsor is Council Vice President Rodrick.
My apologies, Director. That's the one I had mixed up in my pile of papers here. So again, this is the important water pollution control project and lining of the pipes, and it appears that the engineers and others determined a little more work is needed.
Yeah, so a few council meetings ago, we obviously presented to the council regarding the lining project at the treatment facility. After some further investigation and looking into, some of the bypass plans that have been developed, there were some significant complications with the bypass, which required some additional design sheets to be included as part of the design of this project. So this amendment will cover approximately 10 additional design sheets to properly convey what we're looking to accomplish at the facility.
And again, to remind everyone, this is so critical that we have decades old pipes under the ground. The number of 100 years has been tossed around in some cases. And we don't want to see sewage backups in our homes, which could certainly occur and has occurred in a couple of places. And there was a major problem in an adjoining city. So this is work that's been put off for many years. And I'm glad that we're finally getting to it. Do you agree that this is a critical point in our system?
Yes, absolutely.
Councilman, I would even agree because I can attest to the fact that sometime last year over on Center Street, one of the pipes burst. The pipe was, I think, 80 years old, at least 80 years old. It shut down the water in my general area for 24 hours. So I can attest to that. So
Well, I am honored that you would even agree. Thank you very
It
much.
is something definitely that is needed.
Oh, yeah, we've got to get this done. So I would also make that in the form of a motion as stated here.
I will second the motion.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Completed resolution number 6, and we're on introduction of ordinances.
First is an
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
First is an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 18 of the revised ordinances of the City of East Providence, Rhode Island, 1998, as amended, entitled Vehicles and Traffic. The summary is Section 18-307, no parking on Comic Avenue. Sponsors, Councilman Cahoon. Comac. Sorry.
I think it's comic. I don't know. It's like
Comac.
3 streets from me, but this is kind of a weird one, and it's not a no parking on the entire street or even on one side of the street. It's literally no parking on a short stretch of curb that's about 20 feet long. That's between 2 residents' driveways, right? And the ordinance in there describes it. By the way, I've had this conversation with Director Borges. Director Borges is not thrilled with this proposal. I'll tell you why I'm proposing it. The stretch of driveway, the stretch of curb is so short that if someone is to park on it, which happens frequently, they have to avoid both driveways. So they basically take up the entire stretch of curb. One of the residents on the right side, specifically on 34, is then stuck with having to make kind of a crazy turn to get out of his driveway, to take a right to go up the street, kind of threatening both vehicles. Also, there's a situation at 34 whereby there's a tree that's dead center in the middle of the property. And if there's a
p.m., 9 a.m., and 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. on school days. Sponsor is Council Vice President Rodrick.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. You read it pretty clearly. I won't repeat it. I know, again, Director Burns, we've had concern about this in the neighborhood, and this is something I believe that you concur with and can add to.
Yeah, I mean, this one in particular is actually just to remove it. The school's no
To
longer.
take it, the school is
Correct.
closed, the Oldham School is not being utilized, so we need to remove it.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of housekeeping. More importantly, it's really number 4 in the ordinances that really puts all the school one-ways all on the same timeframe. Just makes ordering signage a lot easier. I spoke with the superintendent. She also agreed that this made sense to have a universal,
Mhm.
restriction for one-way traffic on all the schools. And we've actually already ordered the signage to put up all new signage along all the schools in the city.
And in particular, I know there was concern on with Silver Spring School in that area, and there are signs there, but
Yep.
there'll be new ones there also.
Yep. Silver Spring, I mean, I've had complaints at Myron Francis and Rumford, so
Yeah, safe to say every September, although now it's late August, school comes back, almost every school in the city has this problem. Elementary schools, not so much Riverside Middle School, but Martin a little bit, but the elementary schools all have this same issue. And the former Oldham School, the neighbors now can park there without worrying about being in any kind of a violation. So it seems to be pretty routine. I would move approval for first passage.
We have a motion on the floor for first passage. Would anyone like to second that motion?
Second.
We have a second on the floor. Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Aye. Next ordinance, please.
An ordinance and amendment of Chapter 18 of the revised ordinances of the City of East Providence, Rhode Island, 1998, as amended, entitled Vehicles and Traffic. The summary is Section 18-269, stop sign on Allen Avenue, westbound traffic at Smith Street. Sponsored, Council Vice President Rodrick.
Thank you. I'll defer to my co-sponsor, Councilman Cahoon.
Not this one. This one's you. This is Allen Avenue.
Well, this is Allen Avenue.
We're co-sponsoring 4. Not Allen's Avenue.
Yeah, not in Providence. This is Allen Avenue, Riverside. Ever since we went out of order, my papers. So not Allen's Avenue in Providence, but Allen Avenue, there's a request for a stop sign westbound traffic at Smith Street. These are usually pretty routine requests. Director, do you have any problem with this?
I mean, just to add that there were some concerns with vehicle going onto residence property at that intersection. After reviewing it, Allen Avenue would be what we consider a through street with Smith approaching Allen at a T intersection. So it warrants a stop sign. And the idea of the stop sign is to try to limit people from actually driving the residence property and forcing them around the stop sign so that they stop.
It's a pretty tight area.
So I've been in communication with that neighbor, that resident, for at least 3 weeks. And I've been communicating with Dan about that. The other concern he has, Dan, is that the deterioration of his property. And if that was going to be rebuilt back to where the curb, an original curb line is supposed to be.
Yeah, I did go by and look at it. We can certainly cut out a portion of that asphalt and rebuild that corner. It's fine. Do that. And we can lumen seed the residence property as well.
His next thought would be he's going to place a decorative rock there or something. You know,
Certainly do that. Probably damage quite a few vehicles doing so.
I also spoke to some of the neighbors in that area, in the immediate area, and they don't seem to have an issue with a stop sign being there. As I do with everything as far as like Sunset Street, as you know, and other areas that require or recommend requesting of stop signs. I talk to everyone, as many people as possible, get a feel for, what they want and don't want. So. It's your ordinance.
Move approval.
Second.
First passage as read, as stated.
So we have a motion and was seconded. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Last and final ordinance.
This one, Mr. President, it looks complicated, but it's not. Essentially, all of these streets are currently one-ways, designated as one-ways because they're around schools at certain times. The ordinance will change the times. So previously, the designated time was at the beginning of the day between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. The ordinance changes that from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And then at the end of the day, when school's let out, it had previously read from 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Now it reads from 2 o'clock to 3:30. The sole exception there is with the Providence Avenue street that we just discussed, which is stricken from the ordinance entirely. So that one is removed because it's no longer relevant as a school zone.
So you just added the half hour.
Just a half hour
On the
either
tail end.
mornings and afternoons. And to Mr. Borges' point, that you're going to see new signage in all of those areas attesting to these times.
And just to clarify, the reasoning for the time change is really from what we observed out in the field. We went to each of these sites and determined that over a certain time period, people had actually put, had adjusted the times at a lot of these schools. So we figured, go with the largest time frame to, encompass all the schools using the same time throughout.
Councilman, is that a motion?
I'll add one more point. To the extent that you can, please walk to your local school. It really is much easier than creating the disaster that we have every morning with cars. But that said, move to approve the ordinance
Second. You click?
for
We have
first
it.
passage. I am sorry, Mike.
Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Next item, please. Okay.
Next item is FY '23 budget hearing date schedule, discussion and possible vote on the FY '23 budget hearing dates.
So there was a lot of thought that went into laying this out, right? But I know that Dylan put a lot of thought into laying
The
exactly,
schedule that Dylan gave you follows the ordinance that was passed a couple years ago.
yeah, which we've struggled with every single year as to how to set up our meetings.
Is that part of the package?
I sent an
Yeah.
email to all of you
Electronic.
previously electronically.
A couple of weeks ago?
Yep, so you guys could be prepared for tonight.
Yes. Did you have something for him? I thought you were signaling to come up.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was trying to, I thought Dan was leaving.
You can go, Dean.
Something.
I actually added it also to the packet I sent out with the docket.
Oh, it is.
I believe so, yeah. Yep, I did. I sent that out on Thursday, August 11th.
You did, Leah. I saw it before and just. can't find it.
Yep.
I can't-
It was,
See, I think.
It-
Three items?
yep, I added the calendar.
Yep, the middle one.
Yep.
Center ward.
Mhm.
I set up to the second.
Added it for convenience.
It was 23rd. Third. So,
I think I don't remember, but I think he gave you the absolute deadlines, right? So
Uh,
you got to fit in the schedule in between
Mhm.
those deadlines. To review.
I don't have an issue with those dates.
Are those are the date, did he suggest dates,
So-
Leah, or?
Yeah,
those-
he did.
Have the hearings?
Well, no, these are what,
Deadline dates.
There's a deadline date, so you need.
these are, yes, your workshop dates are what we're gonna,
Right, so you need to schedule workshops around those dates.
these are your budget hearing dates, like all when you want to discuss each department. Last year, we did them, I believe it was weekly, right,
August
Malcolm?
2nd.
Yes, normally you've got two types of meetings the council holds. One is just a workshop where you can go over each department, ask them questions. At that time, you can't make changes, but we'll keep a list of them. And then we'll have
where the mayor provides his budget message to the council. I will not be here. I
There,
don't need to be here.
August, no, I do not believe there is a meeting for that. I don't think he's holding one, from what I
Just do
understand.
it by email, and that's fine.
From what I understand, it's being distributed by email.
I didn't realize it was
just be
Yep. Because it has to be on that day.
the 23rd. Yeah.
So we should-
We going to,
Last year, I believe you all had set them weekly on Wednesdays, and we did that just out of precaution. If we didn't need one, we did not use one.
That was
Just,
smart.
you can pick the dates, but I would prefer that if you pick the dates now, that the clerk be, she'll post them now, so we can always cancel a meeting. It's much easier to cancel a meeting than to schedule it. So we pick the dates now, we can schedule them. We have to cancel them because you don't need it or whatever. That way we just post it once, and so we don't have to do it.
So Councilman, are you away the week of the 23rd?
Yes. But I don't need to be here. We're not meeting anyway. Doesn't look like. So we'll just get the budget sent to us.
He was thinking workshop.
No, I'm thinking work. Yeah.
Oh, for a workshop for the 23rd?
So we'll have the budget on the 23rd, and then we need to schedule.
Oh, schedule the
Workshops.
workshops. Well, can we schedule the workshops now?
That's,
Yeah.
that's what this is all about. So last year we did Wednesdays. I don't know if that, it was just,
sometimes,
we have court Thursday nights.
just,
Every Thursday, we have municipal court until roughly around 6 or 7, depending on.
So you want to start on the 30th?
Probate is on Tuesdays, and those are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and generally are done by 4.
Does August 30th sound good, which is the week after your?
That sounds fine.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You can keep it
31st.
on Tuesday. It can be Tuesdays.
we no longer have to worry about school committee. They meet at the high school, so
Can't do it on that
Tuesday, all right?
one. No, the Wednesday, I can't do it, the 31st. I can
So
do
the
it
30th.
Tuesday.
30th,
Is that good? Councilman Morado? 8:30?
Tuesday, the 30th.
August 30th.
Okay.
You want 6, 6:30? What, do you want 6 o'clock, 6:30? No executive,
6:30?
6:30?
Okay.
That's a workshop.
The workshop, to discuss,
It's
to,
not the presentation. The presentation will be the week before. You're gonna get it, you're gonna get a document, or whatever.
Yep.
This is the first public hearing over.
What about the Monday?
work, but that's okay.
One moment, let me go back to my. Are we doing we're doing the 30th? 30th?
If you want to, so these are going to be by department. We'll list all the departments on the docket and we'll roll through them as we get through it. And then we'll use the next date.
Last year, the smaller departments could be more of them.
We'll talk about how you.
Okay.
we'll list them all.
We're going to list all of them and then we'll, this way we can discuss freely at the meetings and not have to keep.
In general, I have a preference for more shorter meetings versus fewer longer meetings.
Yep.
I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I'd rather not be in here for 3 or 4 hours with my eyes rolling.
with you. I'm with you on that.
So you want to do like
So
Tuesday,
the-
Thursday? Like you want to do them in the same week? Do you want to, there's a council meeting on September 6th. So you might want to stay away from that week if you don't want to be here more than once. I don't,
What about September 7th?
Too close to the deadlines and then we're rushing.
Yeah. Well, upstairs.
Well.
It's upstairs now.
7th?
September 7th is zoning board. meeting.
8th?
The 7th sound good?
Yeah.
9/7.
All right.
9/7.
Well, if zoning gets a big crowd, you know, I don't know what they have going, but upstairs could be tough for them.
3,
Do the 8th.
Yeah.
All right. If we do the 8th, can we start at 7?
Okay, but
reminder, City Hall's open till 6 on those days, on Thursdays, in case we do anything earlier. And municipal court will most likely be done by that time. I don't know if it's arraignments or not.
Okay, so that's 2.
You said 7?
7,
7
8:30,
PM.
and 6:30.
What, 9/8?
7.
Yeah.
next week would be
So
the
14th.
14th on a Wednesday or the 13th.
Primary.
Oh, yeah.
Probably stay away from that.
Yep. 14th.
We'll be closed at City Hall anyway.
14th? Wednesday?
Okay with
That's a close,
Back to 6:30.
Councilmember
6:30.
14th, okay. 14th it is, what time?
6:30.
6:30?
Why don't we just go with those 3 dates and we'll look. If it's on schedule.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
We'll adjust that.
All right.
And what day do we get the document? Is from
The
the
23rd, you'll receive it from the mayor's office.
August 23rd.
All right. We got those 3 dates. That's
Do we have
good.
to vote on that?
Next
No.
one?
Next would be adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second?
Sure.
Second.
second.
Did you want to say something? You were standing up. Okay.
So we have adjournment. We have a second.
Yes.
Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Cahoon. Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
Council President Brito.
Aye. No, I want.
This is a mess. This is a mess.